Hi, welcome back. We are in about the third session of this porting process. I made a video last night where I'm still looking into how Blitz handles linked lists in particular, because this GUI is entirely based around linked lists. So if we don't capture that behavior well enough, we're not going to get very far with porting it. For the time being, I'm not going to be too concerned about the linked list stuff. Actually, I just want to get the bare bones samples up and running. So all we've got so far is this thing will set up a window. I can render it manually to the PB display. And there we have it. Now we've created an internal window, drawn it to the screen. So it is actually initializing the window, rendering the title bar, etc. for us. All good. It's all fine. What I've grabbed below, and I'll comment this out straight away, is a tiny example from one of the help files I found on it. And this creates two windows, attaches some gadgets to those things, but we'll skip the gadgets for a second. We'll try and get the window controls to work, or just get one window to work and the render loop to work in some form. So I think to do that, all we need to really port will be is probably the GUI function, which is probably going to be one of the biggest chunks of code inside this library. I haven't looked at it yet. I probably should have, but you never know. So let's try. So we're calling it its function to do that. That should be the same. If I just render this out here, see what sort of return we get from this thing. We're getting something, we can't really read it over the screen. If I do a CLS, should be more familiar. Yeah, getting a pointer coming out of that, as far as I remember. We can go check by looking, just doing find declaration. Just getting through to the bottom, and we are getting a pointer out of this. So we are generating new windows, but we're not doing anything to store them in an internal list. So we are going to have to tackle that at some point, which is a shame, but it's going to need to be done. At the moment, we're generating a window and we're taking control of that window. The GUI itself has no concept of this window even exists. So when we go to draw something, it won't know there's a list of windows that have been created. Anyway, so the render loop for the GUI is this. That's it. So we're just calling this, we've got it open up there as well, so we've got to chuck that in there. Yeah, we'll do repeat until, we don't need that. Do a clear, call the GUI, repeat until escape key, or event equals kill, or mouse button equals 2. So we click the right button, we'll try and get exit. We need to call sync in there to do a refresh page flip. It may not be necessary because this GUI function may already do this for us. I don't really remember. There was a GUI open, wasn't there? There was open my window. We should not have. It's alright. Oh, it's open win, of course. Do we port that function or not? Oh, it's complaining because that's not a pointer. My win as window pointer. to an integer, otherwise I'll complain about that. Good. Let's go back and look at the original code and find that function. Do a search, thank you. Look for NGUI bracket. Should find the function. Actually, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Excellent interaction functions. Let's grab this code. And by bad, I mean large, but there is a bunch of function calls in there. GUI window, let's just put it. I don't need to draw that thing there, do I? No. That's the setup code into here. Let's put it there, and we should get a whole bunch of things don't exist. Key down. Mouse down 1, mouse down 2, so that must be selection of which mouse button you want. We'll wrap them up and not concern ourselves with how what's doing. P-sub, so that's going to come up a lot. Yeah, was it mouse down? Button selector, I think it was. State. So on the end, so refresh my memory. So 1 is left, right is 2, 4 is middle. So I don't really know what it's meant to be. Select button, case 1 falls straight through, it's fine. Case 2 falls, 1 and 2 can fall straight through. I don't know what other options are going to be, so so in PV the powers of 2. In this, I think they're selecting which button you want. First button, second button, third button. We could just go button equals 2 to the power of button. I don't know what mouse down is meant to be. I think I looked that up. But we'll get through that section there anyway. Got some GUI key variables. Draw all. That's going to be the interesting one, isn't it? Draw all. Get the mouse coordinates, left hand, cross. Okay. GUI mouse on. I tend to like to do this stuff like this. I'll show you. So we just have one call of this. We are just pulling it once here, but we could just go subtract 6 from here if we don't need it. If that's the case, and we can just do an addition of that or whatever you wanted to do. So it's the displacement for some reason. Drawing the image at some point. That would be the mouse cursor. Key down. Scan code, is it? Checking if a certain scan key is down. Are we? We got key sub, key state, this key. They should all be the same, actually. Shouldn't be anything special about key codes. State equals key state, this key, state. Let's just see if that works. Well, save buffer won't work. We have no such function. So let's add a fix me. Not supported. If GUI get hit, an event equals gadget. So I suspect what's happening here is when you're hovering over a gadget and you're not actually interacting with something already, we want to know what gadget we pressed on. In graphics. Oh, it's a close down. You can exit the whole thing. Key down, that's the escape key, and down keys. Don't know what 29 is. We can call in GUI and we can get out of here. I don't know what that's meant to be. While key down here, okay. And while GUI shadow, debug, bunch of text in here, mouse state in there, rectangle. Push those out so they line up, just so menu, mouse, debug information. Do we have a color command? I think we do. GUI end, we have no concept of what that is at the moment. It's a function, but there's no. I should get the draw all. Let's have a look. I'm just trying to get. Oh, sorry, there's GUI delay there as well. It's a function that we don't have any concept of. Mouse button. Too many parameters for a mouse button. You're okay. So we return them as bits. You can use that as a mask. So state, equals state, and it with the button. You just go, 2 to the power of button, whereas the power gone. So we're telling if that bit is set. If we just compare that to 0, we should get a boolean depending on what button we're after. Okay, yeah. Well, that's good. We've got to draw all. So this function here, get event. We have no concept of that yet, so we'll comment that out. Fix me. And we'll go to find what this draw all is function. which is doing what we were just talking about before. It'll run through and draw from the master list of objects. Search, which we don't have, so it's going to be fun. NGUI draw all, I think it was. That's not too bad actually. It's not as big as I thought it was going to be. Setting our viewport up, right. Back on, GUI back on. We're finding the max Z from all the windows. We're drawing the one with the highest Z first of all the windows that are stored. And we're running through, checking if their status is set to 1. So you must be able to turn the window off if you want it to be hidden, I think. If it's not, we draw it. Sorry, the status is bigger than 1, we draw it. Okay. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Thought some of this code might be huge. GUI, let's head down the bottom here. And even if this function is not doing anything that we have yet, we're going to have to implement that window list. So we can search through here and find where window is created. Because max win Z, it's just going to be a for each loop through all the windows. So go to here and go find declaration. That's exactly where it is. It's a for each loop. It just looks for the one with the biggest Z. So we're going to have to implement something that handles the window list for us. This is that strange thing about the controls in Blitz, because this is BlitzBASIC code. Win itself let's head to the top here. So that's another strange thing there as well. This is dimensioned in this code as being an array of type window. I must go check that out actually. I wasn't aware of that was syntax that was valid in Blitz. And just check what exactly are we getting when we do that. Because that might just be best to have this as a standard type array. Have all of the windows in a typed array in PlayBASIC, and still use the direct pointers to the actual windows themselves, but not and still like an index of its parent where it is within this window control here. So we can still run through and do that stuff pretty easily. I'll have to check that later. Yeah, so that's I wonder if But I did write a list replacement for these controls, right? So it would keep a master list of what's going on, and you can just refer back to that master list as we're going through the program. But if we don't need that, if we can just have a global array, which is what you would normally do in PlayBASIC anyway, I would normally have a typed global array that I can access from all of the child functions of this kind of library. So I'm building up a command set, and it has a container of this global data within one within one box, pretty much. Why is there a GUI max then? Is there some reason why that's an issue, is there? I didn't notice it was there before. There must be a constant up here somewhere. Default maximum number of windows. Default maximum number of gadgets. Maximum number of menus. Oh, sorry. So we do actually have limits on the number of windows and gadgets we can have. I suspect they're accessible at one time. I don't know why. Actually, I don't get why that would be needed at all. Just for the time being, I'll have a PB emulation of this. So I'm not quite sure what I hacked this out into before. Data arrays could convert to linked lists in the near future thanks to robots. That must be how you have a typed array in Blitz. I didn't know that was possible in Blitz. And that's why it's got a fixed size, because you can't really do, one of the limitations of Blitz for memory is that there's no redimension of arrays. You can recreate the array, that's fine, but you can't recreate and preserve the content. So if you want to expand an array or contract it, it's just awkward, you know. It's not much fun. This is the original code. What have I got in my cumbersome port so far? What is that win? Does any of that code even exist or not? All of that's still there. Yeah, there's nothing for that. GUI active window. No, it contains the current active window. Alright, fair enough. Heaps of these global variables everywhere. GUI here. Yeah. Alright. I suspect, I don't know, I suspect that we can just do this. Go win GUI max W, which is short for max windows, I would assume, as window. And that'll be our PB emulation of it. So when we call the create window function now, we have to make sure this type is allocated and put into there. But we still want to return a pointer to that window rather than an index of it, because the indexes might change over time but the pointers won't. It's just a shame I'm not familiar enough with how this stuff works in Blitz. I just thought they were all linked lists with forward and back links all the way through it. So. Alright. Yeah, let's just jump into it. Who cares? You know, who cares, dude? It's not the end of the world. Arrow, where are we? Open window. GUI window, thanks. We want to go to GUI window. When we make this version here, win's a type pointer. Okay. Sorry, I'm just getting a. We're gonna have collisions with this this win keyword. So I might actually go back and I'll call the global win list or something like that. So we don't have collisions against it. So we won't be referring to that array very frequently. In fact, only when we skim through and check look at all the windows. Where have we gone? Where have we gone? There you are. All right. So this is the we'll call it win list for the time being. And we'll go back to our function. So here what we want is win list. We've got to find an index within here that's free. We can do this with by going get free cell. It's a bit of a clumsy way of doing it, but it does work, and it will automatically resize the array if you want it to, or for you actually. So it does mean if you've got faulty code that's stuck in a loop, allocating, that eventually it will hang its, it will die. But for here, so we're finding an empty index within the array, and then allocating something new, stick it in there, and then what we want to do here is not allocate another one. We want to go win list index, dot window to retrieve a pointer from that thing. Get pointer from type handle in master window array. So we still get this thing being returned to us as a pointer, but we've also got it stored within an array of all of the windows that have been created. So we can use the debugger at any time and peer inside the array to see if we've got something being created. Sounds good, doesn't it? Well, I don't know. All right, what's the next dumb mistake? Draw image. Just put a 0 there, assuming that's a transparent. Yeah, that's not going to work. So again, a comment and a fix me to make sure we GUI end. I'll call end there, that's for sure. We don't have that function, do we? Find iteration? Nope. Go back to the original. Let's see what the end function does. Probably just runs through and deletes everything, I would say. Well, obviously. Sorry, wrong one. Searching for something. GUI end. Bracket. Yeah, there you go. So we're just running through all the gadgets, deleting the gadgets. We don't have any of this code ported, so we can't really do that at the moment. Running through the windows, getting rid of them, freeing the windows, unloading images that we've loaded. So we don't really need that code, but we need it across in here to make other pieces of code feel more comfortable. It's not doing anything all that useful, so you know what I mean. Go to the bottom. So free font. Yeah, you have to fix all of these things. Comment those out. There's no option for that. We need the windows here. We can have a replacement of this, assuming we have something in there we're going to do that with. I'll put a big fix me in front of this. Fix me. So we've got an empty function with nothing in it, but we're getting passed in another area. So we're feeling good about ourselves, but we're not really doing anything all that useful. All right, what are we doing here? That's weird. We've got a string addition. That's actually something I thought about from PB. DY, available video memory, it's not something PB has. Definitely not, so can't do that. Who knows what happened then? Oh, a bunch of gadget types we're looking at. Now I think this is to do with the current gadgets being interacted with. That's my best guess, actually. You guessed it. We'll put a fix me there. Sometimes when you capture it, decides to, oh, I've got a zone thing there. Make a string out of that thing. Rectangle, $8. That's the gadget thing. Let's space over there so I can read that a bit easier. So you can read that too, a bit easier. Viewport. What's our current viewport? What are we rendering to? I don't have a clue. What are those? What are they meant to signify? Background VX, background VY, VW, VH. I have no idea what that's meant to be. Oh, it's width and height. Okay. Right. So to save ourselves some turmoil, we'll make a version of that that does basically the same thing. Again, it's my assumption of what that does. I think this is like xpos, xpos, ypos, and then width and height. Given that's what the parameters were saying before. End p sub. Local surface, thank you. Get surface, but here we'll. Yeah, we'll use that. X2 equals xpos plus width. Y2 equals ypos plus height. I have to declare these because I've got explicit mode enabled above us. So get surface. If this is 0. Ypos x2 y2. That's why we did need that before. Thinking we don't need that variable twice, do we? But we do need it again. Surface. Have a quick drink. It's getting late in the afternoon. I actually got to go out in a minute, so we might not get this to a point where it works in this session. Sorry about that. Well, I think a chance of getting it to a point where it works is pretty slim. Just saying. No, max window. So this is max W. Yeah, that's the function we wanted before. Back across. Let's chuck a bit of a function in there. The principle of what we're doing here is what we actually need, but we're not storing them as a list internally. So the order is going to be whatever order they were created in, and then deleted. So here, because it's a list, we don't care about the order as well. So we can actually fudge this. AZ apparently was what we're going to return. So we just need to go through win list, which is a bit well, local loop. For loop equals won't be north, it'll be 1 to get array elements, win list. We probably should have a shorter version of that command, just called upper, you know. Yeah. If you call it on an array and it has multiple dimensions, it returns the number of items in the first dimension. So that's why there's no selector at the end here. You can't tell what dimension you want to pull from, you know. Here, we also have to go a bit of protection code here. We're just checking, does it exist? If it does, okay. Then we can have a bit of a squeeze. If win list loop dot z, is it bigger than AZ? And win list loop, dot status greater than 1. If so, this becomes AZ. We're looking for the highest one, so we're just going to keep going through until we find the highest one. And that should emulate what this function here was doing, even though the back end is stored in a different fashion. Oh, didn't explode, so that's good. Didn't work, but you know, just saying. This draw all function does the same thing. It's just stepping through the windows. It's doing well, almost exactly the same thing. So I'll just comment that out. Sorry. Set buffer. Viewport here. If back on or background not equals. Oh, okay. So you can have a background picture. Well, I think so anyway. Just go grab the code from here, thanks. That'll do us. Not being too... And here we're just drawing the images. So if Z equals the Z we are looking for, max Z, hang on. Ah, sorry. It's looking for, that's the loop counter there. So going from Z, we're looking from max Z to 0, step 1. So we're just stepping backwards till we find them all. I wonder if there's a bit of code there that keeps those Z's within a range that makes sense. Probably is, I don't know. Alright. We'll check our Z. Is it equal to the one we want? If it is, our status is the correct thing, same thing. Then we do a draw block. So just draw it. Draw image. And this is going to be win list loop image apparently. Win list dot loop dot x. I go point at that and do it almost look the same, but I just can't be bothered. Performance wise, no one's gonna care. False, I guess, for doing a transparent blit. That should be much the same. Origin, okay. What the hell does that do? piece of origin. Oh, it's the cursor position. Set cursor. I think. Try it and see what's happening. No, it's not happy. Escape key, mouse button equals 2, or event. Too many parameters for the escape. Oh, okay. Escape key equals true. We've got our way all the way through the GUI, so we actually have something happening. Wow. Well, it doesn't do anything, you know. Doesn't do anything yet. GUI, draw all, so we are drawing stuff. And just to check that we are drawing stuff, dump some stuff on here. Max Z for example. No. If GUI back is on and GUI BG, which I assume is background, so I think that's the switch, and that's probably the image, would it be? Yeah, there it is. So change the viewport. I'll dump this to the debug console, see what we get. Console. Running, thanks. Running. Okay, so it is running. And our max Z is currently 0, so we have no windows in that main window list control. Let's go find them. They're in main. Win list. Win main. No, sorry. What did I call it before? Win list. Alright, we've got some data in our windows, so we do actually have something in them. We've got two windows that have been created. One is the default window, which is created when you initialize the system. We call the setup code to initialize stuff. And the one that we created, which is called test window, should be 640 by 100 high, is there as well. So what's on Z? X, Y, Z is 0, which it should be because there's nothing for it to render against. Max Z step 0, win list. No, that won't work. The reason it can't work at the moment, or draw anything at the moment, is that we're using this variable called loop, which is going to be 0. And in our win list array, all of our created windows have an index starting from 1 and going up. And here we're using Z. Really, we should be doing. Yeah, we need a nested loop to do this. So I just chopped this line out before, thinking I didn't need it, but I do need it actually. So we're stepping through all the Zs, possible Z ranges, but we have to step through all the windows. So for each Z, we run through the window list looking for a window to draw. Now we should get something on screen, you know. But we don't. Ooh, the mystery will never cease. Alright, status is set to 2. It has an image. has something to render the skin, which I have no idea what that does. GUI event, nothing. So we do have a window. We have a GUI win front draw window. There's another function that draws windows. Oh, okay. So we get to here and there's no image being created. It creates an image for us. We set the buffer for us. We do lots of rendering. Lots of rendering. Yeah, a lot of rendering. I'll just check this rendering to the back buffer. It may not be. Because the text, we should be, sorry, when I was drawing max Z before, it wasn't even rendering that to the screen, see that? So I think we're actually drawing to a different buffer. Let's just go render to screen, because you want everything drawn to the main display. We'll just force it for the moment. And that's the problem. Now, none of this stuff's going to work. We haven't ported any of that code across. But we have the render loop basically doing its thing. The second image here has got some problems, as you can tell, but Alright, so we've got this to a point where it looks like it's kind of working. And we'll have to give that up for a second. So I've actually got to go out. So we're getting there somewhere. It's going to take a while to get through these aspects here. I think once we get a handle on, excuse the pun there, how to set up a draw loop that's kind of compatible with it, how to have the items connecting with each other, whether it's just the windows initially and then the gadgets themselves, because gadgets, this whole thing is mostly gadgets. I suspect that menus and gadgets, they all work the same way, so once we have one working approach, we'll just clone that across and use it for the whole thing. I don't know, it should work alright. We'll soon find out, won't we? We'll find out next time. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.